Okay, you guys, popping in here, totally unscripted, totally unplanned. Just wanted to do a quick video because everyone's reaching out, curious as to what happened, and just kind of want to give you the whole story. And I hope that I can give you some tangible takeaways from what I've had to walk through in the last 48 hours, which has not been fun. So a couple days ago, I was just cooking breakfast and picked up a hot pan. Not quite sure how or why or what the flame was doing and why the pan was 500 degrees, but it was. We're figuring that out. But went kind of into like a state of shock, which literal shock. Like if you've ever gone into a state of shock, it's a very crazy phenomenon that happens. So I froze and then finally dropped the pan and saw that my hand was like very badly burned. So I got it on ice finally, and actually not ice because I Googled what to do and it said a cool compress, not ice. So did that and it actually felt pretty okay. And I was in the middle of a work day and calls, and so I was juggling all the things, and I just kind of sat there with like a cool compress on it. And I was actually mind occupied pretty okay, but I would like try to take the cool compress off and I would almost like get sick at like sitting at my computer. So I just put it back on, kept powering through. And then a few hours later, I finally went downstairs and I was talking to my little girl and our sitter, and I took the cool compress off and I was like, I got to try to like see what's going on here. And that is when I like vomited, passed out because of the pain. It was that intense, and it's crazy that it was like manageable with something cool on it and 100% completely unmanageable without it. I've never experienced pain like that, never in my life, and including having children until yesterday. That's to come. But worst pain ever. So I was like, all right, I've got to go get seen, right? Get a tetanus shot, do all the stuff. And so I went to the doctor, and surprisingly to me, they were like, okay, they kind of bandaged it up and they said, you need to go to the burn clinic. And I was like, what? Like the burn clinic? Are you crazy? And so they were like, yep, it's open on Wednesdays. So this happened on Tuesday. And I was like, well, it's a good thing it's open on Wednesday. So by that night, the pain had subsided. I mean, I did get pain pills and stuff like that. But the pain was very manageable, finally, after going through the most excruciating pain that I could ever experience or have experienced thus far, hopefully never again. And so yesterday morning, I woke up to go to the burn clinic. I was just going to go by myself. And then so I see like God through all of this. And my husband ended up coming with me at the last minute. Thank the Lord. Because we got there, and again, major God thing. So we come to find out through the course of yesterday that the largest burn center in the world is in Augusta, Georgia, which is about 4 hours from here. And once a week, they fly the world-renowned doctors into Charleston to do a one-day clinic. Just so happened to be yesterday. So I'm like thinking about this, like, you know, this, it's just crazy to think about like this doctor being flown in yesterday morning, and that's who I end up seeing. And he looks at it and he's like, all right, here's our choices. Operating room, you know, anesthesia, full skin graft of everything, hand, like fingers, all that. And, or because of COVID, because nobody really wants to go to the operating room. Nobody wants to be in the hospital for a long time. We can do it awake in the office and get you out of here quicker. And y'all, I felt so backed in a corner. Like I felt like I felt like I had lost control of like the choice of my life and comfort, you know? And I just felt so trapped because I was like, okay, operating room seems ridiculous and over the top. He wanted to, I asked him, I said, what would you do? And he said, OR all the way. And I just knew in my gut. So here's your first lesson. I really, in the midst of like my brain exploding, I was like, what intuitively, what direction do I go in? Like I was really tapping into that. And I finally like had after conversation, I was like, listen, I just don't believe that this whole entire hand needs to be skin graft. Like I feel like my fingers don't need, you know, like I just was kind of not arguing with him, but having a conversation. He finally came around. But again, I'm still stuck with the choice of, okay, do we still need to do parts of your fingers and a huge part of your palm? And are you going to go under or are you going to do it in here? And I'm like, oh my God. Like, y'all, I felt like I was in a horror movie because I didn't want to go in the OR. I didn't want my husband to be, you know, exposed to COVID and all that, like through the course of a day or two. And so we opted for in office. It was insane. I will spare you the details, but we'll just say every nerve ending in your body, the large majority end in your fingertips. Like there's nothing more sensitive than your fingertips. And that's what they started with. I will say everything I've been through, but specifically my training that I did a few years back with Laird Hamilton and Gabby Reese. We flew out to Malibu and did this crazy training. I've also done the, oh my gosh, what is it called? It's the Citadel Cadet, like mud run. Mud run makes it seem fun. It's not fun. It's like insane. You know, you're like running stadium stairs with 40-pound sandbags. Like you're doing things, those two things, ice bath training and like, you know, bringing yourself to the point of like near death training makes you realize that what we think we are capable of, we are maybe scratching the surface of just a small percent. You know, we've always said like we only use like, what is it, 5% of our brain? Like we're, you know, what if we used 100% of our brain? What if we used 20% of our brain? Same kind of thing. Like you have no idea what you're capable. I remember doing that military training, and at the time I wasn't conditioned for running. I could not physically run more than a couple miles. This was a long time ago. And I showed up and I ran 6 miles and up and down stadium steps with 40-pound sandbags. I mean, that was just a small percent of what we had to do for that. And I was just like blown away at what we are capable of. We have no idea. We lower the bar on ourselves so much. And when I sat in that waiting room at the first doctor's office and experienced the excruciating pain, it was very similar out of body experience of when I'm in the ice, when you have to like, it's like your hearing goes quiet and the whole world goes away and you just focus on your breath and you slow your breath down and you're breathing like 4 to 5 breaths a minute. The hard thing with this was that there was no end in sight. In the ice, you can get out. But this, I didn't know when the end was going to come. And then it finally went away. And then we end up in this burn center where he wants to, you know, just cut my top of my whole entire hand off awake. And I had to go there again. You know, I had to go there. And in the midst of all of this, I also remember thinking, this is kind of like setting me up for crazy success later on in my life. Because if I can handle this, what can I handle? Like, bring it. Like, business failures, you know, relationship struggles, kids driving me insane. Like, I got it. I can freaking handle anything if I can handle this. Like, that's the grit that was like immediately being built. And we don't get that unless we put ourselves or end up in those really hard situations. But there's also another side to this. So I've been through so much in my life. Like, you know, I remember going through specifically the death of my sister and losing, when we were trying to have a third baby and losing that baby. And I remember grabbing on, like I couldn't handle the devastation. I couldn't handle it. And so I would grab on because I've conditioned myself. I'd grab onto the gratitude and grab onto the beautiful relationships and grab onto the synchronicities. And I was obviously doing that again with this. Like, oh my God, thank goodness it's not my right dominant hand. Thank goodness it's not the children. Thank goodness this, like with the insanity of this doctor flying in this burn clinic, like what a gift. But there's also a side that we don't need to diminish the pain either, that we need to honor it and we need to slow down and we need to honor the pain and not diminish it and sweep it under the rug, because I've done that in the past where I've compared in order to feel better, I compare my pain to something way worse. And I'm like, I got this. This is no big deal. I can totally handle this. But in doing that, I'm diminishing it. And I'm not asking for help, and I'm not recognizing the hard. And we need to do that too. You know, this morning I was like I was on a pink cloud last night because I was out of being physically tortured. And I was on such a pink cloud with gratitude. And then this morning I'm falling apart because I can't squeeze the toothpaste on the toothbrush, and I can't put on my tennis shoes, and my coffee's spilling all over me, and I'm like losing it. And that's when I have to take a breath and remember to honor the struggle and to slow down and to ask for help. And yeah, this is going to make me stronger. And yes, this is like, I can do this, but also grace and self-care and self-love. And so for me today, that looks like rest. That looks like asking for help. That looks like not trying to do, it looks like me leaving everything a mess and saying, babe, it's just too much. Like, can you do even more than you're doing and help? And then recognizing the gratitude of my family stepping up. The other big thing for me in times like this is my routine. You know, my challengers were all like, what are you doing up at 5:15? And I was like, I am grabbing onto normalcy. What's making me spiral is the thought of not being normal right now. I can't surf, I can't work out, I can't jump in the pool, I can't really even go to the beach right now. Like, I can't do a lot. Although this is small in comparison, I get that. But that is what's getting me very, very, very frustrated. And so I gotta wake up at 5:15, journal my book of wins, read my vision, get in the gym, move my body, get some aggression out, do what I can to feel like a normal human being so that this doesn't get the best of me. So I hope that you get something out of that. I hope that helps with whatever you're going through. I've been through enough to always recognize pain as an opportunity for growth, and just an opportunity for growth, right? That's all we can look at it as, but we got to honor it too. So that's it for me, and I hope you are well.